Hey, what's up everyone? 𝐒𝐿𝐻𝐃𝐈𝐀 back with another video, and today is going to be another very important topic that a lot of people ask me about, and that's going to be how do people fail boot camp? How do they get kicked out of boot camp? This is a topic that runs through a lot of new pulleys, minds, or applicants that want to join the Marine Corps because they're afraid they're going to fail. So if you're watching for that same reason, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Before we jump right into it, I want to thank y'all for 26,000 subscribers on this channel. I really appreciate the support. The channel's growing super fast right now, and it means a lot to me. I hope that we hit 30,000 subscribers soon. Just keep showing support. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, just subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, it's free. And then also hit the like button, comment on the video, help the algorithm, help more people find these videos if you find them interesting. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. So reason number one is going to be failure to adapt. This is by far the most common reason why people get kicked out of the Marine Corps. Boot camp specifically is gonna be failure to adapt. Now, this happens when people go to boot camp and it's not exactly what they expected it to be. They realize it's not rainbows and butterflies, and it's not just about just running and being fit. It's actually about mentality as well. So when people get there and they get screamed at by drill instructors, are expected to perform right on the spot, expected to give results to the drill instructors and actually do exactly what they're told to at that specific time, a lot of recruits are not able to adapt to that, and they just don't want to deal with it anymore, and they don't have the mental attitude to actually push through it and deal with it. So this actually happened to a bunch of people in my platoon at boot camp, but specifically two people that really stood out to me was at the very beginning. It was a squad leader and a guide, and they were both really physically fit. I think they came from the same recruiting station, both solid at the beginning of boot camp. Both did really good in the IST. One of them did the best in the O course. They were super motivated at first, but quickly throughout the first month of boot camp, they weren't able to adapt, and they just couldn't deal with it anymore. They couldn't deal with the pressure from the drill instructors. They couldn't deal with all just the intense environment, and they decided that it wasn't what they wanted to do. So later down the road in boot camp, I didn't see them anymore, and then it ended up I saw them in civilian clothes on their way getting kicked out. So that's the most common reason I definitely see people get kicked out of the Marine Corps boot camp. Now, reason number two why people get kicked out or fail boot camp is going to be the moment of truth. If you've already went through boot camp, you know what the moment of truth is. This is a certain time period in boot camp, right before you meet your drill instructors, that they'll have you all in a room, all the platoons together in a room, and then they're gonna have you like bow your head or whatever, close your eyes, and that way everything stays anonymous. And they're gonna give you one last chance to tell them if you lied about anything on your contract. Now, if you did drugs, you did marijuana, you did anything that you lied about on your contract, this is gonna be like the last time that they're saying, hey, you need to tell us or we're gonna find out later. So that's the moment of truth. We had a lot of people that actually stood up because they got scared and went over there and told them exactly what they did. And then some people want to get out at that point because they don't like the environment. Same thing as failure to adapt in the last part. They didn't want to be there anymore, so they like lied and tried to lie and said, oh, I did drugs, like, can I leave? So don't be that person. Just tell the truth whenever you're applying and all that. Tell your truth to the recruiter and all that stuff. And or you could get to that position in boot camp and then just get sent home. So yeah, just don't be that guy. And then now for the third one, we have academic and physical standards in the Marine Corps, boot camp specifically. So throughout boot camp, you're gonna be going through a lot of tests, knowledge-wise, academically, physically. You have a lot of different tests that you have to go through that are requirements to pass boot camp. And then you have, at the beginning of boot camp, you have an IST, which is initial strength test that a lot of people, if you are a pulley at a recruiting station, you know what that is. It's kind of like the PFT where you do the max pull-ups, crunches, but you do a 1.5 mile instead of the 3 mile. You do that at the beginning of boot camp. If you fail that, you get set back. And then if you fail it too many times, there's a chance that you can get kicked out of boot camp. So there's that. There's the PFT later in boot camp, the CFT, which is way later down the road in boot camp as well. If you fail those same exact thing, you could get dropped back to another platoon. And if you don't show any improvement, you're not able to still pass, you could get dropped further and further or get kicked out in general. So there's that. There's also tests in boot camp as well, academic tests that deal with Marine Corps knowledge, history, rank structure, a lot of that type of knowledge and stuff that you do learn at recruiting stations. That stuff as well. There's 2 tests on that. There's one, if you're going West Coast, there's one in MCRD, there's one in Camp Pendleton. You do 2 different types of tests that relate around Marine Corps knowledge. But don't worry, you'll learn all this stuff in boot camp. You don't relatively have to learn it beforehand, but just try to grasp that knowledge and actually learn it while you're going through boot camp. And then same with physical standards, like make sure you're actually improving your pull-ups, make sure you're actually ready before you go, so that way you don't sweat it when you get there, you're already in shape, you're good to go. Same thing, there's Marine Corps martial arts, that's testable, you can't fail that as well. MCMAP is a requirement as well, so you're going to be taught that throughout boot camp. So as I said, just try to learn it, don't sweat it. As long as you learn and you listen to your drill instructors, you should be perfectly fine. For reason number 4, this is a super common one, probably the most common. If I think about it, it might even be more common than failure to adapt, and that's going to be just straight up medical issues, injuries throughout boot camp. There is a lot of people that end up staying in boot camp for way more than 13 weeks, end up staying for 6 months. I've heard some people that ended up staying in boot camp for a year because they break a bone, they tear their Achilles, some major injury happens. So if you have a major injury that you know you're not going to be able to actually perform in the military, and you're not going to be able to do 5-10 mile hikes, anything like that, your body cannot handle it because of a prior injury, I would not try to hide that. Actually disclose it, because you probably shouldn't be in the military if you actually have those issues. So just be ready for that. A lot of people end up getting hurt on hikes, getting injured, and having serious injuries throughout boot camp. So just be careful whenever you go. Try to take care of yourself. And if you get injured, don't just stay quiet. And if it's something serious, you should actually disclose it, go to medical, and be careful. But that is a big reason why people get dropped, why people get kicked out of boot camp, get sent home, and are not able to actually become Marines, is definitely medical issues. So, but it is a serious thing. It's not something just to hide, okay? So just be careful with that and actually pay attention to it. Okay, and for the very last one, this doesn't happen a lot, but I've heard of a lot of serious times where it's actually happened in other platoons. With my platoon, I think a couple of people, or company, a couple of people had this happen to them, and that's going to be integrity violator. So if you lie in boot camp, you lie directly straight to a drill instructor's face when they know you're, when they literally saw what you did and you're just still lying directly to their face, that can become you can become an integrity violator. They hate when you lie. They hate when you try to hide things. Don't be that person in boot camp. I promise you, if you are an impulsive liar and you try to bring that to boot camp, you will get eaten alive. That will not roll. So just be careful. Try to stay honest your whole way through boot camp, because you are not going to succeed. There was one guy that, I forgot what he did, but it was something at the range where he put himself in a really bad situation at the range, and he lied about it, and that got him pushed back in boot camp to another platoon. There's been many different times that people have done stupid things that involve this and have to start boot camp completely over from day one. So you do not want to be that person. Don't lie to your drill instructors, don't lie to the officers or anything like that. Just be honest and do what you're told, and you will be perfectly fine in boot camp. Now, I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative to y'all. I'm gonna start trying to get on the grind of posting every Saturday. That's basically what I want my schedule to be from now on throughout the summer. my schedule has been really busy where it's hard for me to film, but right now it's getting a little bit better, and I hope I can actually stay on a baseline of actually getting stuff done, actually filming consistently. That way you'll have a lot of content from this channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for 26,000 subscribers, and I really hope y'all have an amazing week. Thank y'all so much.